guys, RedHannya here. Thank you for joining me for another figure review. Today's spotlight or review is going to be of another Bandai Creations Godzilla figure. It's the 2006 Final Wars Anguirus, or Angulus, however you want to pronounce it. They actually pronounce it several different ways throughout the movies, I'm pretty sure. Or at least with the English dubbed audio they do. So Anguirus, Angulus, however you want to say. So Anguirus is a kaiju that first appeared in Toho's 1955 Godzilla Raids Again. And what's really special about this guy is he was basically the first other kaiju monster that Godzilla fought, which is something that later became a tradition in all the other Godzilla movies. Godzilla always had some other monster thrown into the mix. Anguirus has actually also teamed up with Godzilla on several other occasions to take down an even bigger threat monster who's worse than both of them. So he was a foe of Godzilla, but then later became a friend of Godzilla, I guess you could say. And also, too, the name Anguirus, or Angulus, in Japanese, I'm pretty sure translates out to Ankylosaurus, or is pronounced roughly the same as Ankylosaurus. I mean, you can kind of see why. He's got, I wouldn't say armored, but he's got these spiked looking porcupine things on his back. And he even kind of has a club here on the end of his tail. So you can kind of see why he's very somewhat dinosaur-like. But before we actually get the figure review going and I go over this guy, let's just talk about some of the movies he appeared in. I already said his first appearance was in the original second Godzilla movie, the sequel, Godzilla Raids Again from 1955. He appeared again in Destroy All Monsters in 1968. And Anguirus appeared in Godzilla vs. Gigan 1972. He actually teamed up with Godzilla. And Anguirus was actually killed, spoiler alert, in the beginning of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974. And his last appearance in the Godzilla movies, to date so far of me uploading this, was Godzilla Final Wars from 2004. And he appeared in that movie just like he looks here in front of me. He has two different looks like most of the Godzilla monsters, or the old school Godzilla monsters. They had the 70s looking vintage ones, or also in this case the 50s and 60s vintage looking ones, and then he got an updated look like many other monsters in the Godzilla Final Wars movie. Okay, so that's enough of a background history on this guy and his film appearances. Or any of his major film appearances. He's probably appeared in a few other things just as cameos or something. I'm not going to classify this guy as a 6-inch figure because he doesn't stand on just his back two legs like most Godzilla monsters do. He's on all fours, so on all fours he comes up to about 3.5 inches tall, just about, almost 4. 4 is like right here where my finger is, so like almost about 4 you could say, with his spikes. And length, he is just about 1 foot long, as you can see from head to tail back here. He just about reaches the 12 inches. So about 4 inches tall and 12 inches long here. This is a pretty okay figure, and he sizes up, I'm not sure how accurately with other Bandai Creations and other monsters, but I'd say it's fairly accurate to the movie for the most part, size-wise. Paint job, his whole body is this bluish gray color, I'd say. This just not dull, but just this gray color, and his spikes and all of his horns and feet toe claw colors are this very pale looking yellow, almost like a cream color, just like that cream color. His teeth are the same yellowy cream color. You can see his tongue, and that's about as much detail for inside his mouth as you get his tongues painted. And he has brown eyes with a black pupil. So yeah, that's about for paint. Overall though, the detail is nice. I like how all these spikes on his back look. And it feels really cool to touch. The figure isn't hard plastic, but it's like this very soft-y, rubbery, not squishy, but this soft, plasticky vinyl, which feels cool. And like I said, he's not heavy at all. He's like, you can just tell by the way he sounds. Just really light plastic. So yeah, I like the design. He looks really cool. I mean, even here on his underside, you can see they have like all these little, I'm not sure scales, but just these markings. And that's basically through the entire figure, from creases everywhere. And here on the back of his tail, there's a glue seam. So the tail piece here doesn't move. There's a glue seam here for his tail. And articulation, he's got about 5 points, or 4.5. The front legs can't go 360, they can go about back to this point and then upwards till that point, because they get hindered right here by a few of these spikes on his armor plate back. Same with this leg, goes to about there, and then to about there. Back legs can go 360 because there's nothing holding them in the way from doing so. It's really nice. This is why I said 4.5, because the head can't really move all too much. It kind of just goes like that and then the other way. I don't think it can go 360, and I don't want to force it around because it doesn't really look like it can. So the head just kind of goes left and right, but not much. So that's why I said 4.5 points of articulation here on this guy. But not bad though. I like the overall design, the Final Wars design here. Final Wars kicked ass. On his front legs, that's where you have the markings for trademark, copyright 2006 Toho Company Ltd. And then here on the other foot you have Bandai 06 China. So yeah, there you guys have it. The review for the 2006 Bandai Creations Final Wars Anguirus, I'd recommend this figure. His paint job isn't really anything too crazy. It's not really eye-catching at all, and it's pretty bland, I'd say, but it's not bad overall. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I just wish he had some different color skin tones thrown in instead of his whole body just being this gray color. But it does look good next to other Godzilla figures on a shelf, and like I said, he's basically, I wouldn't sure say it's movie accurate size, but for size comparison with the other 6-inch figures, he's pretty spot on and fits in perfectly. This isn't a nitpick either, but just the way the back feet look, it looks like he's pouncing forward. And you can see like the way his feet are here, and then like his legs curved up, and like that toe on the inside's almost like completely just buried, kind of. Looks like he's like pouncing forward or something. Both of his back feet are like that, but it's not a huge gripe. It's not a huge deal. Like this one, you can see that toe is like just fused with the leg right here. This toe right here is just fused with the leg right there, you can see. But I think that is just the design they had for his back, the way his feet are positioned. But it's not terrible. I recommend this figure. So give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this review, or if you have this Final Wars Anguirus figure, and post in the comments down below and tell me what you think of this guy. Do you agree with me that his paint job is a little lacking, or do you actually like the paint job more than I do? Like I said, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I just feel like it could have been slightly more improved. But at the end of the day, like I said, I like this figure. He looks awesome on a shelf or next to other Godzilla figures in a collection, so I'd recommend him if you don't have him. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick review of this Bandai Creations figure, and tune in next weekend as I will be reviewing another Godzilla figure. Until then guys, RedHannya, I will be seeing you guys later. See ya!